Did you ever notice how many things in common there are between sex and coffee?
How would you like to join me in a cup of coffee?
I would really love a good hot cup of coffee.
I really love drinking coffee as well. Coffee is one of my favorite things.
I really enjoy coffee. I am looking forward to this.
Here is your cup of coffee. I just made it.
His coffee is terrible. What did you do to it?
I did not do anything to it. You wanted a cup of coffee, so I gave you a cup of coffee.
This was the worst cup of coffee I ever had. It was very cold. The coffee grounds were sitting on the bottom of the cup. It was not brewed long enough. And it had a very bitter taste to it. You obviously do not know how to make a good cup of coffee.
But I know how to make a cup of coffee. I just made you one.
But you did not follow the directions very well. If you had followed the manufacturer's directions, the coffee would have tasted better.
I do not need some old man in the Vatican telling me how to make coffee. He is simply trying to stifle my freedom and my love for coffee.
But do you not think that the manufacturer of the coffee pot knows the best way to use the coffee pot? He made the coffee pot. He knows how we should use it for the best results.
But what does this coffee pot have to do with having sex?
Well, God designed our bodies. He knows how they function for the optimum efficiency. That cup of coffee was very cold. Did you ever think of plugging the coffee pot into the electricity?
Plugging the coffee pot into the electricity would mean that I would be making a commitment to the electric company. I do not want any commitments. I want my coffee with no strings attached.
If you plugged the coffee maker into the electricity, you could have a good hot and steaming cup of coffee.
What does electricity have to do with sex?
If you are not plugged into the source of love, which is God, then how can you hope to have a meaningful relationship? If you refuse to make a commitment to one person, or to the electric company, then your relationship, like your coffee, will be cold and unsatisfying. That cup of coffee was very bitter and very weak. Did you ever think about changing the filter or using new coffee grounds?
I put a filter into the new machine when I first bought it. The filter is still good. It does not have any tears or giant holes in it. And I do not have any time to go and get a new coffee filter. And, besides, I have gotten used to drinking coffee this way. What does the coffee filter have to do with sex?
Well, if you do not regularly change the coffee filter, you will end up with a bitter cup of coffee. If you do not go regularly to the sacrament of confession, your soul becomes bitter and unable to recognize how bad your situation really is, and you forget the true meaning of God's love. Have ever thought about changing the grounds when you make a new cup of coffee?
What does getting new coffee grounds have to do with anything? I bought the highest quality coffee beans when I bought my coffee machine. Why should I have to change the coffee grounds simply because you do not like the way that the coffee tastes?
If we do not change the coffee grounds often, the coffee grounds eventually grow weak and lose their flavor. The same is true when we talk about the grace of God. If we do not renew our relationship with God by coming to Mass every Sunday, with daily prayer, and celebrating the sacraments, our life with God, like that cup of coffee, will grow very weak and stale. Jesus Christ our Lord said that He came that we might have life and have it more abundantly.
So, what you are saying is that if we do not use the coffee pot according to the manufacturer's instructions, we will not have a good cup of coffee.
That's right. If you do not use a thing according to the purpose for which it was made, you end up not achieving the desired end, and you may end up hurting yourself or someone in the process.
So, what is the purpose of our sexuality?
That is a topic for another time. But now, can I have a good hot cup of coffee?
You bet. I will get one for you as soon as I read the instruction manual on the proper way to make coffee.